Hey everyone, Kevin here. I got an interesting question from a WordPress developer called David Altman. I worked with David a little bit in the past and he recently emailed me with a question. If I do face-to-face interviews and have a camera that's naturally some 3 or so meters away, how can I ensure a good sound quality that sounds good in the video and also in the exported audio? Do I have to connect the camera through a longer cable with a microphone? What are the requirements regarding camera and/or microphone? Before the end of last year, I really didn't know anything about audio, and I spent a few months looking at how to edit audio and how to improve audio and get a good audio recording. So I learned a lot about editing audio, and more importantly, I've learned more about audio recording equipment. And I guess this is what this question is really about. What audio equipment do you need for an interview? So if you were sitting here and your interviewee was sitting here, you would have your camera there or there and you'd be filming a few feet away, just like I am just now. And you want to ensure that you get the best audio. Now, obviously, you don't want to rely on the audio built in from the camera, because in general it's always very poor. It's very tinny, it sounds like it's kind of echoey and it's never good. So you want to improve the audio. Now, I'm sure you can have microphones like this. This is a shotgun mic, and you can put this on top of your camera. And you can buy a lot of shotgun mics that can attach to your camera as long as you've got a 3.5mm jack, a microphone port in your camera. A lot of cameras don't actually have that, but if you do, you can put a shotgun mic like this on top of your camera, and it'll just sit on top of your camera and it'll pick up the audio. Now, I think what I should do in this video is just kind of give you a brief introduction to the type of microphones that are available to you, and then hopefully this will point you in the right direction as to what microphones you can buy and then what is the best for you in interviews. It sounds like, I think you mentioned you're going to be doing this in conferences and things like that, so I think once you know what each microphone can do, it'll give you a better understanding of what microphone to use when you're in different situations. Now, this is a shotgun mic, and it's very similar to the ones that you would put on top of a camera. This is hyper-directional, and what that means is that the sound wave is kind of directed towards me. Now, if I had to move around to the side, you should hear my audio drop off a little bit, and if I had to walk offshot a little bit, my volume decrease again. So it sounds a lot better when I'm sitting directly in front of the shotgun mic. Now you can see here, this shotgun mic is attached to an audio recorder, and for me, I think this is the number one thing that you should buy. This really should be a priority, because there are good microphones you can buy that attach to your camera, but if you want to have control over your audio, you really need something for recording it, you need something for monitoring it, you need something for editing it, and an audio recorder is the best way to go. You can buy them really cheap if you just want something simple to start with, or they go up to a couple of £100, or obviously you've got professional equipment, etc., but this one was a few £100 or like €400. I believe they use euros in Greece where you're from. Now, the one I have is the Zoom H6. I've found that the shotgun microphone is the best one for recording videos like this in front of the camera. I had originally planned to put it on top of my camera, but I found it's easier to set it here. And it's not because I want it to be close to me. I mean, that's the kind of side benefit, but the main reason is for monitoring. When this shotgun mic is on top of my camera, I can't monitor the audio levels. And if my camera had a headphone port, it might be an option, but it doesn't have that. I need to use the audio here, the headphone jack. The problem is when I put this audio recorder on top of the camera, I'm going to be a couple of feet away, a couple of meters away, and it makes it difficult for me to monitor the audio. I just find it so much easier if I can just monitor things closely. And the downside to that is that you can see this audio recorder in the shot, but it's not something that really bothers me, to be honest. But an audio recorder is really going to open up all these different microphones that you can use. This one has a detachable microphone at the top, but along the side here you've got 4 XLR TRS inputs, and you can buy an attachment that allows you to attach 2 different mics. Now, this is just a standard microphone. This is a really good one. This is a Samsung what's it called again? Q2U. It's called the 2100 USB. What do you call it? Ars Technica in America. But this is really versatile. So the idea is simple. You connect one end to my audio recorder, and then I would plug it in here, and it clicks in. Once it's clicked in, it's really solid. Now if you only got one of these microphones, all you do is you would ask a question, and then you would ask your interviewee, let them answer it, and then you would ask a question again, let them answer it. You'll see this kind of style of recording a lot by news channels, and the reason they do that is simple. It means that you don't have to hook the other person up. You don't have to say, right, okay, hold this microphone, or we need to hook you up to the audio recording equipment. You can just hold your microphone, and then you can hold it at the right distance towards them, and you should get a good recording. But if you're sitting down for an interview, that's not really the way to go. That's okay if you're walking about, for example, a conference, and you're just doing quick questions. Hi, blah blah blah. What do you think of this? You could ask them and then let them answer. That is where this could be useful. But if you're sitting down at a table like this and you're talking to someone, you really need two of these. So you could sit it down in a stand, or you could just hold it, and you'd talk into the microphone and they would talk into the other microphone. The benefit of doing that, one of the main benefits, is you're going to get two different audio tracks. So your track could be on track 1, their track could be on track 2. And this is the way that most podcasts do it. I was planning on setting up a podcast with my friend Kevin, and we did a few tests the other week, and we were just kind of messing around, just talking into it, and trying to learn more about this audio recorder, trying to learn more about how we'll set up the podcast and try to get everything right before we start recording. And one of the things we found was I actually talk a little bit louder than him. It's kind of strange because it's not noticeable when we're talking to each other, but when you listen back to the audio, I sound much more louder. I sound so much more louder than him that it sounds like I'm almost talking over him at times, when it didn't feel that way when I was talking to him. But if you've got the audio recording in two different tracks, then that's not a problem, because you can reduce the gain. You can reduce the levels of the audio track that is louder. So you can even everything out, and then everything will sound good. Now, if we only recorded everything on one track, it's nigh on impossible to do that, because you've got both people talking on the same track, and if you reduce it for, you would just reduce both people when you reduce it. So you really want to get each person's audio recorded on a separate track. It's going to give you so many more options post-production when you try to edit everything. So that's another piece of advice. Number one thing I would say is buy an audio recorder, and the second thing I would say is, if you can, try and record the audio on separate tracks, because it's going to give you it's going to make your life a lot easier, put it that way. And after you recorded everything and you go back and you listen to it, if there's any problems, it's so much easier to fix things when you're trying to fix it one track at a time, one person at a time. So that is one option. Now, you've maybe seen in my last videos, I've got my boom stand, and I've got this here. This is called a pop filter, and this will reduce popping and hissing when you're talking, so that when you get too close to a microphone, you can get a lot of distortion and things like that. But it would sit in there like that, and then I would talk here. But obviously you're not going to walk around and take this anywhere with you. You couldn't take this to a conference, because this is fixed to my desk. The pop filter is attached to the boom stand, and the boom stand is attached to my desk. So what you could buy is this. This is very cheap. This is a microphone windscreen, and you can pick these up from Amazon for like €1 or $1 or £1. They're really cheap. I paid a few pounds more because I bought it in a shop. I had to buy it before it was going away, and I bought it for going to South America. Now, it's really simple. You just put this on top of your microphone. So then your microphone will look like this. Jackson 5. So now you've got the windscreen on top of your microphone, and this will reduce popping and hissing, and it kind of reduces a lot of the noise that you'll get when you're speaking into microphones quite close. So that's something that I would recommend buying if you do use a microphone like that. The other option you can buy is this. This is called a fuzzy windscreen, and so some people call it a dead cat. This one is actually for this shotgun mic, and this is what you use if you're outside. If you're outside, you'll see a lot of this, all the wind. It would be going past here, and you wouldn't pick up so much noise. Wind noise going through the shotgun mic. You actually see, most movie studios, most news reporters, when they've got a boom microphone, it kind of looks like a shotgun mic, but they're just holding a big boom stand. When they've got that on, they've nearly always got this on, and these things, they've got big, high, professional microphones that cost thousands and thousands of dollars, euros, pounds, whatever. They cost a lot of money, put it that way. And they've nearly always got these on it, and it's because when they're recording outside, there's a lot of wind. So if you're recording outside, you would have to really buy one of these, or you're going to get a lot of, a lot of the wind noise and whooshing around. You're not going to hear what anyone's saying. So another type of microphone that you will see is this. You can see that. Now this is known as an XY microphone. Now an XY microphone, this is always found at the top of audio recorders. Because this one has a detachable microphone system, it's not on it just now. I've got my shotgun mic. I had to buy this separately, by the way. But most audio recorders from Tascam and Olympus, etc., they've all got this XY microphone at the top. And this is really good for dictation, and it's really good for just general recordings. I've seen a lot of people on YouTube, and they use it for recording their guitar or the piano or whatever. And this has got like a 90 degrees range, so it goes like that. This particular one can actually, you can move the microphones around, it increases it, and it goes to 120. But essentially, if the microphone's there, it would record audio kind of that direction. Still pick up a lot of audio from back there, but mainly it's all going that direction. This is quite a versatile microphone, and most audio recorders, as I said, they have this fixed. Now, another option you have is a side microphone or mid mic. And what would happen is this shotgun mic actually has a side mic in it. So right now I've got just a hyper-directional shotgun mic recording. It also has a side mic, and that means that I can record left and right. There's additional microphones in it, records left and right, and those will be recorded in separate tracks. So if I wanted to, I could use this to record left and right, that area as well. And that's what this microphone does. This is called, they call it the Zoom H6 mid-side mic. I'm not sure you can see that, but it says left and right on the top. But essentially what I could do is replace this shotgun mic, put this microphone on the top, and it would record left and right, and the recordings would be on separate mono tracks. So again, that means that I can adjust the levels. So in theory, what I could do with my friend Kevin is just put this to the top, and we could just sit and talk across from each other, and then we get two tracks, and then we can adjust the levels. So that is another option that you could think of. And another one, which I'm sure you're aware of, is the lavalier mic. So most people just call it a lav mic. And it's just this little tiny, tiny microphone. I'm sure you've seen them on TV. And you just clip them to your t-shirt or your shirt, and then you would start talking. I've been using this one a lot actually. I used this to do unboxing videos, and the reason is I've got a 3.5mm jack, which is what this is, and I've got a 3.5mm jack on my camera, so I can just plug this into my camera and I can start talking. I could have recorded this video using that, and I can also insert it into this XY mic and then put it into my audio recorder. But I was using this directly into my camera. It's very good. You can it's pretty obvious that you can see that the microphone is here. Ideally what you'd want to do is put it under the shirt and have it there hidden. Or if you were wearing a button shirt, you would try and hide it under the shirt a little bit, or you'd wear a jacket or put it under your collar. One thing I would say about this is try and watch for hissing and popping. I was using it a little bit low down, but I have found that I've been a little bit disappointed a few of the recordings that I've made, because I've found that it kind of sounds like I've got a lisp when I'm talking because it's so close to me. And I mean, the audio does sound good, but it's just a little bit annoying sometimes. It's kind of hard to get the audio right. But one of the reasons why that is probably the case is because I wasn't running this through my audio recorder. I was running this directly into my camera, and it doesn't give me any controls over the camera. There's no way for me to change levels, to change anything, reduce levels. All I can do is change, put the gain up and down from 0 to 20, but I can't really mess about with it. And my camera doesn't have a headphone port to monitor the audio, so I'm kind of in the blind. What I have to do is do a few recordings, then listen to it, put the video file on my computer, and then test it. But it's still a good solution though. Excuse me. But I'm quite lucky. My friend Michael works in sound engineering, and he prepares. I mean, he works with us all day, and he prepares all these microphones for performers, for shows, for bands, for he does this every day. And he got some lavalier mics that he had in his house, and he fixed an XLR input into it. So it just makes it easier for me. I've got two of these. I can put these directly into my audio recorder. What that means is, as I said, when I'm using this directly into the camera, I've got no control. But with the XLR mic, you know, if I've got this and my friends get this as well, you know, we can sit and do the podcast using the XLR mics, and then we can use something like this, you know, the XY mic or the mid-side mic. So we could have 3 tracks. We could have 1 track for him, 1 track for me, using the little lavalier mic, and the 3rd track could be used to kind of record background noise. And then in post-production, we can actually reduce the background noise so that you can hear us pretty loud. There's a lot more microphones in the market, but those are the kind of main categories you'll get. You know, you'll get shotgun mics and XY and mid-side mics and lavalier mics and good old standard, you know, just vocal mic. But I think that is the kind of general, that's a kind of good collection of microphones that you'll see in the market. Most of them are kind of variations of that, if I'm honest. But I hope you found this useful. Again, this isn't a comprehensive guide because I do still consider myself a beginner, but I'm getting there. I'm starting to learn a lot more about audio recording. Every day I'm learning new things, but a lot of it still is over my head, and I'm just listening to the audio and just trying to get the best. So to recap, my number 1 tip to you would be to buy something like this. The one I've got is the Zoom H6. I've done an unboxing video, and I've done a couple of other related videos to it. This one in euros is about 400 euros or so. You can get them cheaper though. There's other audio recorders you can get for about 200 euros. So you might want to consider a different version. I just found that was for me, and because I was going to do a podcast, I thought that was the most versatile option, because most audio recorders only take 2 XLR inputs and some of them only take 4. This takes 4 and it's got them built in, and it's got the option of having 6. So I just thought moving forward it was the best option for me. But there are a lot on the market, so I would look into it. If you get any questions about any of this, please do ask a question below, David, and anyone else watching this video as well, please do ask a question below and I'll do my best to answer them. And I keep saying this, but again, I'm a beginner, I'm not an expert on this, but I will share with you what I've learned, and I'll do my best to help you out in any way. Thanks for watching, and as always, if you enjoyed the video, please do consider liking or subscribing. Thanks guys, cheers.